Welcome to War Thunder with Subdude. How y'all doing today? Well, I just got done watching a video made by a young YouTuber that proclaimed that he had some inside knowledge from an acquaintance of his about Tier 6 aircraft coming, and he put out a list of proposed Tier 6 aircraft. The problem with his list of Tier 6 aircraft is that about 90% of them are unacceptable with the current size of maps in the game. Let's start with an F4 Phantom. F4 Phantom is Mach 1.4 minimum, and it can carry a better bomb load than a B-17 or a B-24. Then he threw out the F-101 Voodoo, which is a missile-only armed interceptor. The F-105 Thunder Chief, which can carry almost as much of a bomb load as a B-29. Yeah, this is not going to happen anytime in the near future. And the fact that he's going, well, there's guns on some of them, like, okay, great. There's guns on some of them. You want to know what those guns were used for mostly? Strafing ground targets. They were not used in the air-to-air mode. Now, yeah, in Vietnam, they did not like the fact that they did not have a gun on the F-4 Phantom. And when they were out of missiles, they were unarmed. And I agree, that was a bad choice by McDonnell Douglas. And it was a bad choice by William McNamara. He was the Secretary of Defense back then. And he was an absolute blazing idiot. They called them the slide rule guys because they were all college educated and they had no idea how to conduct a war. But they were doing it. They were conducting the Vietnam War. Yeah. What needs to be looked at before we go to any of the planes that are listed in this young man's video is the Dagger engine needs to be able to handle much larger maps. And not in a small way, in a big way. I'm talking doubling the size of the large maps. I mean, with the exception of 3 planes on that list, the F-100, the French Intendard, and the Soviet Su-7, all the rest of them were Mach 1.2 or better. That's ridiculous. That is beyond the pale for the current maps that we have. And I would be really suspect about the large maps that we currently have in game. Alternate history Spain. That map isn't quite big enough for those planes. And what about the air-to-air missiles? And one of them that he proposed was a Wild Weasel plane. The F-4G Wild Weasel. And also the F-105 had a Wild Weasel version. Now, if you don't know what the Wild Weasel is, it was an air-to-ground attack plane, specifically designed to go after the radars of missile sites and guns. So, all you Shilka drivers, you'd be looking at being annihilated from about 8 to 10 miles out. We're talking Shrike missiles and Harm missiles that can tear your little tanks apart before you even know you've been shot at. The only warning you're going to have is when you see that white streak coming at you, because you aren't even going to see the plane. And just what's going to happen when you get an F-105 Thunder Chief coming in with a full bomb load. And those aren't 250s or 500s. They started out at 750s. Yes, 750-pound bombs, and it carried a boatload of them. And the F-4 could carry a boatload of bombs. And then he said the F-111. The Aardvark could carry even more bombs. And it could carry air-to-ground missiles of all different types. It could carry CBUs. Do you know what a CBU is? Conventional bomb unit. It also carried GBUs, guided bomb unit. And the GBUs could be laser designated, they could be GPS guided. So, where does the stupidity end? You could have planes that are passing over the battlefield of ground forces or naval forces so quickly that you'll not be able to shoot them. As for naval forces, well, they fare a little bit better because they haven't mentioned anything about having anti-ship missiles yet. And oh, what was the Étendard? Oh, that was a French naval attacker designed to carry anti-ship missiles. Oh yeah, and the F-4 could carry harpoons. Yeah, come on. Whoever was talking to this kid was blowing smoke up his skirt. And he wasn't doing the kid any favors, because he thought he had the scoop of the nation. Well, I think he really should have sat on that information for about a day to think about it. Maybe even 2 days. Because as far as I'm concerned, he was told somebody's wish list. That's all I got. This Subdude signing out. Y'all have a pleasant today, a better tomorrow, and we'll catch you in the skies in Air Realistic. Bye-bye, folks.